even see it. She started the camera before she did it. We watched Radio Rebel 2 nights in a row. There's clearly something wrong there. My favorite band is the G's. I am Radio Rebel. Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Stacey Bender Gaming. I'm Cheyenne. And I'm Sierra, and welcome back to this week's video. One thing we have to point out before we get into what we're doing today is it is freezing where we live, so we have a heater on. So I hope you're not bothered by the noise if you can even hear it at all. She's wearing a green blanket. Maybe you should green screen something onto you. I don't know, maybe it'll work, maybe not. We've been doing a lot of gameplay videos, but we kind of just wanted to have a sit-down video today and just talk about something gaming related. This might become a series on our channel if you guys like it. Of course, we'll always post more gameplay than videos like this, but it's nice to break it up and just talk about things that are gaming related. So what we're going to be doing today is looking at gaming horror stories that were either found on Reddit or Quora, and we'll either give the person who put in the question a solution or just our thoughts. Let's get started. My hair looks so bad. It looks alright. No. Yo, hype you up. Hype her up, guys. Hype her up. Stop. So humble. So we're gonna start off with a short one. I'll read it because Sierra says she's not good at reading, so I'm not. Sorry. What should I do? My parents threw away my kids who are 14 and 12 years old. They threw away their PlayStation and their Nintendo Switch because they kept playing on them while they were staying with them for a week. I've already asked them to buy my kids a new one, but they refuse to. That's literally ridiculous. That's honestly gross. See, this is why I don't like old people. Let's think about this too. It's like, if your kids are like 12 and 14 years old, what are they gonna have to do when they are at their grandparents' house? Play outside. And I'm sure that their grandparents don't have anything for them to do either. So what do they want them to do? Twirl their thumbs, you know? It's just so annoying. Like, old people piss me off. Like, I don't hate old people, but like, I have a strong dislike for a lot of them. Okay, not a lot of them, but it's just like some of the things that old people do piss me off just because they're so selfish. It's like, get your act together, because it's like, again, you come into this world the same way you go out. Like, and I know that that sounds mean, but it's like you kind of shrivel back up into a little baby. You know, I think that that makes them really mean. Old people are old babies, basically. They don't have the right to be that way, because it's like they've lived a whole life. They know what is right and what is wrong. Now, about this specific situation, instead of complaining about old people, is what I would say to do is like, if they're not going to buy your kids a new PlayStation and a Nintendo Switch, don't even let them see the grandparents anymore, because it's their fault. Seriously, do they not know how much a Nintendo Switch or a PlayStation costs? That's ridiculous just to throw it in the garbage. And I don't even think you can do that. You're not supposed to throw, like, electronics in the garbage. Yeah, honestly, I think it's so stupid. Clearly, I just don't understand where their heads were at when they decided, oh yeah, let's just throw away a PlayStation and a Nintendo Switch, acting like that was a completely rational decision to make. It's like one thing with those annoying angry dads that literally break whatever gaming console or PC or something that their child has, then they're obviously ridiculous. But these old people, it's kind of like, oh, they're so annoying because you know why they did it, why they thought it was the right thing to do. These kids are probably bored at your house and they have nothing to do. So what do you mean that they keep playing on them? What do you expect them to do? Because it's like they can't talk to you the whole entire time. And now these kids probably hate you and never want to see you again. So you just totally wrecked that relationship. And honestly, you kind of deserve it. You deserve to have boundaries put against you and you not be able to see them. Second, I honestly feel like the parents should literally never let the grandparents see the kids until they buy them another PlayStation and another Nintendo Switch. So I was also looking at like the top response for this question. Their answer was similar to what we said, and it started to make me think about like all the possibilities and things like that for this scenario. And honestly, this is what I also just randomly thought about. If the grandparents say that they can't afford to buy them another Nintendo Switch and PlayStation, maybe don't break things that you can't afford. I don't know. Maybe just don't break other people's things. You can't just like break other people's things, especially if they're like expensive and it's intentional. Like, that's just ridiculous. And obviously the kids were having a lot of fun on it. They need to create a boundary between the grandparents because the grandparents clearly don't know what they're doing. The boundary is not gonna hurt anyone except them. That's completely okay because they're just mad that they made a mistake and they won't apologize for it. But you know what? Sometimes you need to make boundaries because people don't listen. There are also these, like, parents that just don't understand how therapeutic gaming can be and how much work can go into something like a video game. This is going to lead into our next story. My 8-year-old son is crying after I deleted his Minecraft world. Should I permanently take away his video games? My 17-year-old says that it's a digital Lego. But I think these games are bad for him and he needs good old-fashioned outside time. Now, if you're like a child, you should be outside, but that doesn't mean that you can't do both. You can play video games, also go outside, but also, do parents not understand that not all kids enjoy being outside? It's like, I would be really mad if I was forced to be outside, not because of just video games, but do you guys not realize that sometimes kids can get sun poisoning? Like, cause I know a lot of parents don't force their kids to wear sunscreen too. It's just like a bad situation. What are your kids supposed to do outside if you don't even have anything for them to do? I know, this is so annoying. This makes me lose respect for so many parents when they do this kind of stuff. It's so annoying. Like, when I was a kid, like when I was really young, like I did enjoy going outside, but I also spent so many hours playing Wii Sports Resort on my Wii, and no one was ever triggered by it. Now I am completely an indoor person. I don't like going outside except for like maybe going swimming or something, but even then I just don't like going outside that often. I have experienced similar things, let's just say, where they're like, you should go outside. It's like, what are they gonna do if their kid is inside like playing with like a Barbie or something? Are they gonna say something? But just because it's like digital? I was just gonna say, I don't know how old they are, but then it says that it's an 8-year-old. What the hell? I'm sorry, but even the 17-year-old is really trying to help by saying it's like digital Legos. See, like, again, if it's physical, they don't care, but if it's a screen, oh my gosh, they're brainwashing our children. I don't understand what the problem is. And especially with the Minecraft world, that is so devastating. You could have done like so much, so many hours going to Minecraft. I would know. I used to play a lot when I was younger, and that would just totally suck. Especially because I would build a lot of things instead of like actually playing. I would play in creative mode so I could like build different like people and like things and stuff like that. And so for it to all be gone. Now I'm more of a survival player. Like, I play survival on Minecraft. But before, I used to always play on creative mode, and I built so many worlds and things like that. If someone deleted that, like, right now, I would be extremely pissed off, because, like, that takes a lot of time and energy to do. You can't just, like, delete that. Like, that kid probably hates you. You probably traumatized them, and they will literally never forget that. Because I think what the stupidest thing about this story is that even though the kid playing video games was not bothering anyone, and it was obviously something that he liked. And just because you literally took away something that meant a lot to him, you're considering taking it away forever. It's like you already know how he reacted the first time, because you messed up. And so you think that taking the whole thing away is going to fix the problem. If anything, he's going to resent you more than he did before. You should give it back. It's like you've already caused enough damage to your child. Why do my parents hate video games but love the TV? So I recently had an argument with my parents about their limits on our screen time, and it was all about how they hated us playing video games on the TV and watching too much YouTube and said it's too much screen time, but then make us come off and say, watch the TV. It was a little confusing and frustrating for me. I mean, I'm not done reading this, but I can already see where it's going because I know how old people are. You know why they hate video games but love the TV? It's because that's how they grew up, and they are bitter and don't like anything changing. So even though you are doing different things but on the same device, that's why they get so mad about it. It was a little confusing and frustrating for me and my brother as we were just looking at a screen again. Also, an argument from our parents about YouTube is that it's just watching someone play a game, but then we are encouraged to watch football or rugby when it's just people playing a game. I just want to understand their thinking without being punished for speaking out against them, so can anyone help? That's a hard one because I feel like parents and grandparents are extremely stubborn and they don't want to listen to anyone else. And just because they have authority, they think that they are always right. And they think that they can do no wrong and they can never make mistakes again because they're not a child. And that really pisses me off. They feel like they've lived life, so like they think that they know better, but they really don't. I am honestly losing my faith in adults like every single second of the day, just because I see things like this all the time. They're just so unreasonable. Again, they'll love watching TV. It's whatever they are biased towards, because they grew up that way, so they want the same thing for you, even though obviously things have changed, and a lot of people don't even have cable anymore. You know, just because something happened to you doesn't mean that you have to force that upon your children. You and your children are not the same. But with this one specifically, they're asking for any advice. Honestly, I would really try to explain to them, without being rude, obviously, but how stupid it is that, you know, they'll just force you to watch the TV again and look at another screen when they're telling you that you are looking at screens too much. When it's like, what's the difference between watching people play football? Why can't I say it right? Football! What's the difference between watching people play a sport and watching people play a video game? The people playing the video game are probably more entertaining, for one, because they're actually talking. What if you don't like sports? Like, seriously, I hate those kind of families where it's like you get left out because you don't like sports, because it's like a family activity, like a family cult. Sports have become a cult. Sports is my religion. I just don't get it. It's so annoying to me. Okay, so this is the next story. This is called Why Do Parents Take Away Good Things When the Kid is Clearly Already Suffering? As if we haven't heard this scenario how many times. Basically, literally every story that we've read is, you know, taking away something that's gonna make your kids literally suffer more by taking it away. When I was in grades 3 through 8, my mom took away all my video games when my room was messy. However, in grades 3 through 8, I was relentlessly bullied by almost my whole entire class and quite a few teachers, along with my home life not showing me love, making me depressed. Getting up in the morning was a chore and I couldn't be bothered to do much. Instead of trying to find out what's wrong, my mom decides that discipline is the best answer, since clearly I'm just lazy. Luckily, I found ways around this issue by sneaking video game sessions. We'll just stop right there and we'll continue reading in a little bit. This is the problem with parents. They believe that mental illness doesn't exist, and even if you don't have a mental illness, your kid could still be struggling with any issue. And instead of talking to them about what the problem is or giving them something like video games so they can, you know, de-stress and relax, they're like, I'm gonna punish you so you can learn your lesson for being upset. Honestly, I dealt with similar things. Both of us got bullied a lot when we were younger, and for a long time I was saying that like I probably had some sort of mental illness. I probably had like clinical depression, and no one really believed me about it and thought that I was ridiculous. And I recently started going to therapy this year, and when I was talking to my therapist, she was like, you probably have clinical depression. Among other problems as well. Yeah. People just don't listen. People don't want to be educated on a lot of things. They don't care if it's for the child's sake. Because it's either they don't want to believe that it's true because they're like, oh, my child could never have depression. Look at what I have given them, when that's mental illness has nothing to do with like your circumstances and stuff. Of course, you can be depressed or more upset because of whatever's going on in your life, but you can always have a mental illness that has nothing to do with that at all. Video games have been such a help with me over the years. It just allows me to de-stress and not really think about anything and let my mind wander too much. It's always a good time. And also, it's like, if your kids are struggling, don't you think that it would be nice for them to have another world or reality to jump into that they think is fun? If they really are, like, struggling and they think that their life sucks, sometimes thinking about something else or a different world that they could be put into by playing a video game can help a lot. That's why it's like, whether it's watching TV shows, playing video games, or, like, movies, anything like that, I just feel like that stuff helps a lot, but then they call you lazy. You know, know, if I'm in school for like, even like, let's say 8 hours, how am I gonna get those 8 hours back to recharge? I can't just sleep the whole day. I need to do something, play a video game, watch TV, watch a movie or something. And we've been called lazy so many times. But then also they're like, you're just so hardworking and I can't believe how good of grades you have and you're like so burnt out, but yet also you're so lazy. How did you sit around there all day? It's so weird. It's like a backhanded compliment every time. And also then at the same time, it's like, it's so situational. It's like the one time I do relax, they call me lazy. In grades 7 and 8, my life was at its worst. Since my mom gave my school written permission to take whatever discipline they deemed necessary, so the teachers and principal would take away forms from me, steal from my locker, allow accidents in the gym, lock me in a room after school, and lower my grades when I don't behave expectedly. Okay, what kind of school is this? This is getting crazy. People don't realize that the simple things can really help your child. This parent seems like the worst. She probably thinks she's so great too. I'm just so put together, and so is my child, because I have just amazing parenting skills. Probably what she's thinking, but sorry, but you're not. You're not. You're not. You're not. She never noticed what I was going through, even when my teachers admit what they have done to me. What? When I was 16, my mom put a timer on the internet. She said that it was because I have to wake up in time for school. I was consistently waking up early and waking her up at the time. Then summer comes along and she uses the exact same excuse. Then she starts asking me to pay for her full access before I even get a job. Okay, so as I was editing, I just realized the story went way off track and way off topic from what it originally was, which was basically video games and parents, you know, taking away things that make their children happy. But then it just went in a completely different direction. So after this, we read a little bit more, but I decided to cut it out because it was hard to read because of the grammatical errors, and plus there's a lot of serious topics also mentioned in it. There was a discussion of like self-harm and things like that. So we just stopped it here. So this story is really long, so I'm just gonna leave it at that, but it seems like she's even doing stuff to their sibling too, who is really stressed. There's a lot going on in this story, and all I have to say is that as soon as they are old enough to move out, or if they haven't already, like just get as far away from that parent as possible and try to help your younger sibling. I feel bad for the younger sibling, because they're gonna get it just as bad or even worse, because the mom probably thinks that her parenting techniques are working. I don't understand parents, to be honest. Like, again, losing your faith in adults. What have we learned today? Parents are extremely disrespectful to their children and don't care about anything that they care about. I don't know why parents think that they deserve respect from their children when they brought them into this world, and especially if they don't give their children respect. We've also learned that, obviously, you know, old people don't like gaming, as if we already didn't know that. We learned a few good things. De-stress with video games, because obviously that works, but these people keep taking it away from everyone. I mean, I think that we're getting to a place where I feel like that's not happening as much, but it still happens. Yeah, I feel like because it's not happening as much, like the people who are getting that way and like taking away the stuff are like crazy. Because I feel like we're beginning to be more progressive about parenting, and we're literally not verbally abusing our children anymore. Well, not completely. That still obviously happens a lot. But different things that are good for kids are becoming to seem more normalized, and that's good. We hope you enjoyed that video. It was a lot to unpack. Maybe we could find more funny stories next time, because it would be funny if we could just like make fun of these adults and things like that. If you want us to do this again, please give it a thumbs up and comment down below. Subscribe. We have a main channel if you want to go check that out, link in the description. God bless you, Jesus loves you, have an amazing day, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye!